Well, first off, let me introduce myself. I'm Representative Larry Walsh out of the 86th District in Joliet, Illinois. Thank you all for coming here today. We are here today to announce the introduction of House Bill 3293. And this bill will establish a low carbon portfolio standard that will help reduce carbon emissions. More specifically, the bill will require electric utilities to purchase 70% of their electricity from qualified low carbon energy sources, such as solar, wind, hydro, nuclear, tidal, wave, and clean coal. This legislation would make Illinois the national leader in ensuring the clean energy future, even ahead of other environmental leaders like California. Under the LCPS, electric utilities would rely upon Illinois Power Agency to develop an open, transparent, and competitive process to obtain low carbon energy credits. Costs associated with purchasing the low carbon energy credits would be collected from all retail customers. Just like in Illinois' renewable portfolio standard, the LCPS is a requirement that only applies to electric utilities that serve more than 100,000 customers, notably ComEd and Ameren. The LCPS does not apply to smaller electrical utilities, electric cooperatives, or municipal electric utilities. The legislation also includes a number of safeguards to protect consumers similar to those for Illinois' other clean energy programs, such as consumer price cap, rebate mechanisms if wholesale prices exceed a specific amount. But equally important, the proposal would secure current and future low-carbon jobs. The nuclear industry alone employs thousands of highly skilled laborers in our state, and 8,000 of those jobs could be lost if 3 of our nuclear plants close, according to a report by the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. We are joined here today by some of our friends in labor, and they can speak of this in greater detail, but make no mistakes, this legislation is about jobs and it's a jobs bill. So I'd like to encourage my colleagues and thank them for coming here to support this bill, the low carbon portfolio standard, to help us secure our economy today and in the future. And with that, I'd like to introduce the chief co-sponsor, Representative Mike Tryon from McHenry County.
Thank you, Representative Walsh, and it's a pleasure for me to be here today and support my colleague in expressing support for a low-carbon energy standard. And essentially, if you look back to 2010, Illinoisans have enjoyed the benefits of a deregulated electricity market. They have enjoyed market-driven competition. And that's one thing that we put in place that has worked, I think, very well. As we see the marketplace change, we see how the marketplace affects our consumers. We also look at how it affects that integrated portfolio that makes it a stable and dependable and competitive marketplace. House Resolution 146 was an initiative that detailed some of the concerns and consequences that would happen to the Illinois marketplace if any one of our portfolio changes were made that might affect one of our generators. Let's look at, we seem to talk sometimes in what this bill will impact in the marketplace, and we need to talk essentially sometimes about the impact this bill would have on the marketplace if we didn't pass a bill similar to this. So if we lost any one of our generating components with nuclear power, we would be looking at a substantial loss. $1.8 billion is what we are looking at in economic activity that's generated from these units. The cost to our ratepayers and our consumers throughout Illinois could reach as high as $1.2 billion, $200 million worth of goods and services in local economies where these power generation facilities are located. The report found that maintaining stable prices depends upon continued operation of these facilities. The power price increases in the first year could be as much as 10%, or $437 million. And that's just for the ComEd customers. The Ameren customers and the remainder of the customers would see about an $810 million increase. As my colleague stated, the report indicates that this isn't something that we can't act on. This is something that the General Assembly needs to act on and in this session in order to preserve our dependable and integrated marketplace for consumers throughout Illinois. And I am happy to be able to be here with you, work on this issue as we proceed through the legislative process. I would also like to introduce Mike Kerrigan from AFL-CIO.
Thank you, Representative. I think I'm the first person in the Capitol who's trying to be in two places at the same time. But it was important to be here. I'm Michael Kerrigan, President of the Illinois AFL-CIO, and the AFL-CIO supports the Illinois Coal Carbon Portfolio Standard for 3 reasons: jobs, jobs, and jobs. Our legislators should recognize the bill's enormous potential for creating and preserving clean energy jobs while lowering carbon emissions in Illinois. The stakes are high for our economy and for our environment. Legislators in Springfield should enact the Illinois Low Carbon Portfolio Standard to secure clean energy jobs in our state and protect the livelihoods of thousands of workers and their families. Thank you.
I'd like to bring up Dean Apple, who is the business manager for IBEW Local 15.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm not an expert at this, so I'll just try to do my best. My name is Dean Apple. I'm the president business manager of IBEW Local 15 out of Downers Grove, Illinois. We represent the 5 operating plants that Exelon has. 2 of them that are on the list to possibly close are the Quad Cities and the Byron Station. And I represent them as well as the southern stations, LaSalle County, Dresden, and Braidwood Station. So we've got a lot of energy around this. This is going to affect my workers immediately if something would happen. In them 2 plants that I'm talking about, Quad and Byron, we represent a little bit, give or take, around 600 members that work there day in and day out. So I want to let people know what I'm representing today. I'm here really to support the Low Carbon Portfolio Standard because every morning thousands of our highly skilled laborers across Illinois go to work at our nuclear plants. These are highly skilled, good paying, full-time permanent jobs, and they won't be easily replaced, as we all know. I'll give you a little bit more on that. We just closed the Zion Station about 98, 99 up in northern Illinois, and I had workers up until last month in January of this year. They're finally decommissioning that plant, so we no longer have Exelon workers at the Zion plant. And I would encourage anybody that's in this room today, if you want to see what the plant closing would do to the economy and the environment and everybody up there, go look at their school districts and go talk to the mayor of that town or anybody for that matter, see what happens when you lose that tax base of a nuclear power plant and how it affects the community. We're talking almost about 8,000 jobs here in Illinois that could be lost, and these are according to the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, the study they did that came out earlier this year. And once they're gone, they're gone. I can speak on behalf because I actually worked at the Byron nuclear plant my whole career. I was a mechanic and a certified welder, and when they close these plants, I want everybody to know you have to turn in your operating license to the NRC. And once you do that, you can never get it back. So this has to be taken seriously. There's no, well, we'll go back and get our license back. It's never happened in the history that I'm aware of. I've spent over 33 years in the nuclear industry, and I'm fully aware of what happens there. We have long supported all the above approach to energy, and our workers are employed at facilities across the spectrum of energy technology. I also represent the fossil plants. I represent the Fisk and Crawford plant that closed down. I'm in Chicago. We still have operating plants. I represent one here south of Springfield and in the Joliet area, as well as Waukegan. So everybody here has got something at stake. The Low Carbon Portfolio Standard is a technology neutral policy, so we don't want anybody to get hurt here. I do represent fossil, as I stated earlier, and it's consistent with all the above approach that would encourage and use of low carbon energy sources, including renewable, nuclear, and clean coal. It values our existing energy sources and supports the development of new technology. I urge the General Assembly to take up and pass this low carbon portfolio standard. It's good for Illinois, it's good for the working families, and good for the environment, and good for our economy. And I thank you, and I'd like to introduce Rick Turbin from the UA, the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters.
Thank you, Dean. My name is Rick Turbin. I am the Legislative Director for the Illinois Pipe Trades Association. We represent 22 local unions that cover the plumbing, pipe fitting, and sprinkler fitting industries. We have members that are employed at all of the nuclear power plants across the state of Illinois. I just want to echo quickly the comments that President Kerrigan and Dean Apple relayed. And we have a, you know, we're kind of at a crossroads here. The closing of these plants would be a significant loss to our members and the not only our members but also the the communities that the tax base represents. So I think as we move forward, we want to make sure that we are considering the economy, the jobs, and the tax base as well. So appreciate it. Thank you.